Welcome to Every Musical Ever. This podcast contains strong language and it's not suitable for children.
It's time to chat, just you and me. How many musicals can there be? I hope that there's infinity. Kettle on and pour the tea. Every musical ever. It's a show that is so clever. It's a very fine endeavor. Every musical ever.
Hello. Remember me? I'm so sorry for the long delay, but we are back, baby, with Every Musical Ever. I'm Richard Carroll, your host. First things first, how great is that new theme tune by Brent Hill? Musical theatre icon in general, Brent Hill. Helpman Award winner, Sydney Theatre Award winner, probably winner of lots of other awards, I'm not sure. Brent did our original theme tune that you will remember if you're a previous listener to the show, which was recorded literally using my iPhone voice memo function on a piano in the foyer of the Hayes Theatre in Sydney. And that's what we were using for the podcast prior. But Brent has written, as you've just heard, a completely new theme tune with lyrics, and I'm a big fan of that. So thank you so much, Brent, for doing that. So look, I'm not going to dwell too much on the ins and outs of why the podcast has been on such a long hiatus. As you will expect, again, if you're a listener to the show previously, you'll know that I'm a theatre director and producer as well as a podcast host, and I just got really busy. Big apologies, but because I love doing it so much, as soon as COVID hit and all this went down, well, first of all, I spent about a month just watching the Golden Girls and not getting out of my pajamas, which was really great. And then I decided to use it as an opportunity to get the podcast going again. So I really wanted to make sure that I get it right this time and go all in. So part of that is investing in some proper sound equipment. The sound on the old podcast was a little bit shonky. It's going to be much better from now on. We've got some proper microphones, headphones. I've learned more about GarageBand, all of this stuff, which probably doesn't interest you, but it's going to mean improved audio quality from now on. More importantly to you, as you'll know, the podcast was coming out once a month, and even then it didn't always make it every month. Now we're going to be doing seasons, and the reason for that is that I will be recording all the podcasts in a season, so you'll know that there are 12 episodes to come out, and they're going to come out once a week. So you know that you're going to be getting a new episode every week when there's a season on. On top of that, I'm going to do extras episodes. So in fact, you're going to get episodes twice a week. You'll get your regular full episode on a Monday, and then you'll get an extras episode on the Friday, which will comprise extra material, some of your feedback, and some new interviews. So, for example, this coming Monday, the first full episode of the new season will drop. That is on Oliver, the musical, with an exclamation mark. I'm talking about Oliver with Keegan Joyce, who you may know from television's Please Like Me, as well as many theatrical shows in Australia. Keegan actually played Oliver in the 2002 production with John Waters. So we had a good old chat about that, about him being in it and about the show as a whole, or our usual kind of dissection of the show. It was a really fun episode. So that will be up on Monday. And then on Friday, I'll be doing an extras episode. Some extra material. I really want some of your feedback on Oliver and your thoughts on the show. And an extra interview. I had a chat with Tony Sheldon, who got his start aged 10 in the ensemble of Oliver in the production in the late 60s, where, of course, his mum, Toni Lamond, played Nancy. So we had a good chat about him being in it and his thoughts on the show. That's in the Friday episode. So one thing that's always been really clear with the podcast is that you guys obviously love musicals and know a lot about musicals and really give us some great responses on social media. So the Facebook page and our Twitter page has always been a really great place to get feedback, and I really want to hear that now. We've now got an email address, everymusicalpod@gmail.com, and so you can give us your responses either to the podcast episodes themselves or your thoughts on the musicals that we're discussing, and I'll use some of those in the extras episodes that go out on a Friday. In this upcoming season, I've got some more brilliant guests, including Lucy Durack, Joel Creasy, Christy Whelan-Brown, Kirsty Wiebeck, and some returning favourites like Elise McCann, David and Lisa Campbell, and Josie Lane. Now, one of the biggest things that I'm adding as well is a Patreon page for the show. Now, if you're not familiar with Patreon, it's a place where we can create an Every Musical Ever community. And again, with a whole bunch of exclusive extra content, audio, video, written content, images, polls, discussions of each episode. And it's essentially like a Kickstarter, but it's an ongoing subscription model. You can be a member of the Patreon page for as little as $5 a month. If you can afford more, you can give more. And that's a way for me to pay all of the guests who are coming on the show, which I'm committed to doing now. Obviously, the theatre industry is closed down. The vast majority of people who come on the show as contributors are theatre performers. And so I really wanted to make sure that they were all compensated for their time. I was lucky enough to get some grant support from the City of Sydney for some of the relaunch costs and the extra equipment. And the Patreon, hopefully, will make it viable to continue the podcast going on that model from now on. And to kick it off, there is a launch offer. If you sign up within a limited time, not sure what it is, might be 30 days, might be 60 days. We'll see. You will get an exclusive episode that we recorded, especially for the Patreon. It's on Australian musicals, and that's me and Tom Sherrar. So a little bit of a different subject. We took, rather than a single musical, we took the concept of Australian musicals, and that episode is exclusive to the Patreon if you sign up early. And there will be other exclusive episodes that we'll record for the Patreon too that we released from time to time. So that's the plan. Check out the Patreon page. There's a link in the episode description, but it's just patreon.com/everymusicalpod. We'd love you to sign up, and we'd love your support, and also love your feedback on what kind of things you would like on the Patreon, because we can tailor it to what you guys are going to engage with. I'll leave it there for now. You'll get your first proper episode, as I said, on Monday, unless you sign up to the Patreon, in which case you'll get it on Sunday. Here's a little preview of our Oliver episode with Keegan Joyce on Monday.
Having reviewed it as well, like one massive thing that's missing in the musical is Oliver's evil twin brother.
What?
Oliver has an evil twin brother, like an evil twin, a half brother.
In what?
In the book.
Does he?
Yeah, his name's like Monks. His name's Monks.
Oh.
He's like got it out for Oliver because he knows that there's like a fortune, maybe his father's fortune. They have
Oh my God, I forgot about this. This is sounding vaguely familiar.
Yeah, Monks is like kind of evil and also knows Fagin. Very coincidental.
Yeah, there's a lot of big coincidences in this story.
Yeah.
That's a good trim, though. We don't need that in the musical.
Well, I was wondering maybe we could kind of wicked Oliver and do the monk story.
Yes, now we're talking. Okay, good. This is great. Excellent. Yes, I love it. That's it for now. Join me on Monday for that Oliver episode. As always, I want your feedback, suggestions, etc. on all our social media channels at everymusicalpod, or email everymusicalpod@gmail.com. All links are in the episode description. If you have a moment, please take time to rate and review us wherever you get these podcast episodes. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe. See you next week.
Every musical ever.
Thank you for listening to Every Musical Ever. If you liked it, you can give a star review on the Apple Podcast app or wherever you found this podcast. And don't forget to subscribe.